Hey team, just gonna give everybody a couple minutes to hop on. I know a lot of you are actually probably at work right now, but again, this will be recorded as all of our money making sessions are. I'm very excited about the one today because we are going to be talking about how to be a master when it comes to skincare. So as you get on here, let me know who's on. You can type in the comments or give some thumbs up or something. So like I said, I'm just going to give you a minute to pop on. Okay. As I get all my notes together, there's so many great things to talk to y'all about today, actually. Okay. See here. Just going back to where I want to start. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So today, the topic is going to be Skincare Masterclass, and I'm actually taking this from our Skincare Masterclass book, and there's so much jam-packed information in here. So there's actually no way I'm going to be able to cover all of it today. So we're going to break this into a couple weeks, okay? So today I want to talk about why do we want to know about skincare, and then just kind of teaching you the basics of your skin and then the aging process, okay? So first off, why do we even care about this? Why do we care about, learning more and being a skincare expert? Well, when we're in the business of making money, okay, when we have a craft, we want to actually be an expert in our craft, right? So how many of you feel, and I know not that many of you can watch this live, but post below or let me know if you ever feel like, yes, I want to sell more skincare, but maybe you just don't feel like you have the right verbiage, or maybe you feel like you know the steps, but that's about it. You don't really know how to educate your clients more about skincare. So what I know is, when I had my son Liam and I was looking for a pediatrician for him, I wasn't just going to go to any person just because they were a pediatrician, right? I was wanting to get, okay, who's had some experience with this person? Who's an expert in their field? And, from there, I took some referrals and suggestions and chose somebody that way, someone that I heard lots of great recommendations from. But same goes for a restaurant or, a babysitter, a doctor. Anytime someone's going to be doing business with you, you want that, you look for that quality and that, people that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, okay? So just so you all know, if I can learn this, you can too. I'm going to teach you everything I know, and there's even ways you can learn even more, because for those that don't know, I have an international business degree. I did not go to esthetician school. I did not go to school thinking that I was going to be a beauty control spa girl one day, okay? So like I said, if you're not an expert right now, you can learn, just be teachable, and know that any of these things that you want to be an expert in, you can do the research and you can be the expert where people are going to come to you with their skincare concerns, okay? So by learning about all of these, how your skin works, how the aging process works, how do we take care of that, and how do we be the best skincare consultant and coach for our clients, that is all going to give us confidence, because confidence is contagious. And we all know when you see ladies out here that are doing makeup tutorials or skincare tutorials or things like that. Hey, Holly. I hope you had a great trip, girl. So when you see these women that are doing all these tutorials and looking so confident, people are flocking to these women because they look at them and say, hey, you're an expert, right? And Holly is a great example of that. So, you want a piece of the pie. You want to drink the Kool-Aid that they're drinking because you look at them as an expert. So that's what I want to help all of you girls feel like. I want you to walk away from this feeling like, okay, I'm an expert and I have something of great value that I can offer to people. And before you know it, you're going to have people knocking on your door or sending you text messages or sending you Facebook messages because they're like, hey girl, can you help me? I'm having some breakouts, or I'm struggling with adult acne, and you're going to know exactly what to tell them. Okay. So let's talk about, so first, to get that confidence, we need to educate ourselves, which you're doing right now by getting onto our trainings, okay? And then also we need to practice, practice, practice. It doesn't do any good when we have all this knowledge, but we don't apply any of it in real life, okay? So we all know in order to make money in our business, you've got to be in front of people. Even if it's through social media, you just need to be communicating what you have and what you can offer to others, okay? So, like I said, today we're going to just take one little chunk of our skincare masterclass and we're going to talk about the makeup of your skin. So let's dig a little bit deeper and make you sound like a pro, okay? So I want to talk about the 3 layers of your skin. So if you have the skincare masterclass book, I'm actually following along on page 7. So it's going to show you the different layers of your skin, okay? So we have 3 that make up the skin structure. And then we're going to talk a little bit about your grapes, raisins, and cornflakes that I know all of you have heard at one point or another. So the skin is made up of 3 layers. The first is your subcutis, okay? That's going to be more of like the support layer. It's filled with fatty cushion. So that's going to be the one that's like, innermost, okay? That's going to be that very, very bottom layer of the skin. The second layer is the dermis, and I'll show you the picture here, okay? So there is that subcutis we just talked about. Sorry, I should have done my nails. They don't look too great right now. But the second layer, the big, big chunky layer that you see there that has the collagen, the elastin, all of that, that's going to be your dermis, okay? So that's the middle layer. That's the connective layer between the outermost layer and then your support layer. And honestly, that's where most of the work is done with our skin. So that's where you have your pores, your sebaceous glands, follicles, all of those things that really make up, the collagen that's going to really make our skin look more plump and just healthy all over. That's the layer of skin that we want to work with, okay? So I'm going to tell you how we're going to get to that middle layer since it's not the outermost layer. Which brings me to the epidermis, which is that top layer. So that's what we're seeing and feeling right here, the very top layer that we can see and feel and all that good stuff, okay? So one of the things that I found that was very interesting, so as I was preparing for this, I've learned, we're always constantly learning things, and I actually learned a lot by preparing for this training that I'm doing right now. And one of the things that I found out is, how many of you might be like me and you have that misconception that our skin thins with age, right? We all have a predetermined amount of skin cells, our skin layers, and, I kind of did believe that, as we get older, our skin just starts to thin and we lose those layers. But that's actually not the case. And I was like, oh, light bulb moment, never knew that. It was really exciting to hear that. So what happens is we actually keep the same number. I want to make sure I tell you this right. So we actually maintain the same number of layers of skin cells as we age. But what happens is those layers start to get dehydrated and we don't have as much of that collagen. So the amount of layers stays the same, but like I said, they become dehydrated and flattened, so they just appear thinner, okay? So they appear thinner, they're less plump, okay? And then also they're less firm and can be more resistant to damage, or less resistant to damage, sorry. So does that make sense? I thought that was really, really interesting. Did anybody else know that already? Because that was new news to me. So again, we don't actually lose layers of skin as we age. They just become dehydrated and flattened. So it appears that we're losing those layers, okay? Because they're not as nice and plump as they once were. But we all know that with beauty control, we have an amazing skincare system that can help with that, okay? So these are all things that are going to be extremely helpful and again, make you sound like an expert when you're talking to your clients, okay? So let's talk a little bit more about your epidermis, because that is where our cornflakes, raisins, and grapes come into the picture, okay? So Lily, I know I didn't know that either, girls. Always learning something new. So the epidermis is the outermost layer, right? And that is the one that's actually broken down into 3 layers, okay? Which is where we come into our cornflakes, our raisins, and our grapes. Okay, so the cornflakes, that's going to of course be that outermost layer, the surface layer. It can be thought of as being like tough, dry, just that really compacted, hardened skin. Okay, but what's cool is for each layer of cornflakes that you shed, you actually produce a new layer of grapes. And we all know the grapes is that nice, healthy skin that we want, the plump skin. We don't want that dry, damaged, hardened skin. We want that nice, healthy skin to come to the surface. So what does that mean for you and for your client? That means that we need to be teaching our clients the importance of exfoliation. So many people do not exfoliate on a regular basis, so you can actually help them to have way better skin by teaching them the importance of that. And this is great verbiage to use to tell them why. Hey, we want to get rid of a layer of cornflakes so that you can produce a new layer of grapes, right? So this was also really interesting to me. So something else you can share with them. So of course we know the process of shedding, it's called exfoliation, right? And it actually occurs naturally 24 hours a day, okay? But complete cellular turnover, and replacement of those new cells, so with those grapes, it actually occurs every 28 to 30 days in young adults. So you're looking at like, maybe 20s to early 30s. However, the process slows dramatically as we age. So it goes from, having that cell turnover every 28 to 30 days to actually going to 45 to 50 days. So almost double the time, okay? So that's why we want to be using products that are going to help to speed up that exfoliation process, because who wants to wait 2 months to get some nice new grapes? I know I don't. So that is why we want to be using products such as our masks, our exfoliating polish, especially our microderma peel, one of the best ways that you can get rid of lots and lots of cornflakes and really be bringing those grapes to the surface. All right, so are y'all with me so far? Everybody with me? So just a little rule of thumb, for the skin to act younger, it needs to regenerate itself more frequently and more quickly, okay? So we can do that with our amazing exfoliating treatments, all right? Next is going to be the raisins. So the raisins, those are going to be, of course, that middle layer. They're going to be dehydrated and they're starting to harden. And before we know it, those raisins are going to move up into that cornflake stage. So again, we want to kind of minimize that process, and we want to help repair the raisins too. So again, those nice healthy grapes can come to the surface. So those represent the cells that are replaced and move towards the surface of the skin. Okay. Now, what we all want to see, which is that very bottom layer of the epidermis, which are the grapes, okay? So the grape layer is the lowest layer of the epidermis. These are going to represent the newly developed skin cells, the nice, healthy, plump, juicy grapes we always talk about at our spas. So with that layer being closest to the dermis, it actually, I'm going to just read from here because this is such good verbiage, I don't even want to change it. It's actually nourished with oxygen supplied by the blood, okay? And within these layers, there's cells that are called melanocytes. Melanocytes are responsible for the production of melanin, which is our pigment, okay? Skin pigment, so the coloration we see, that's what melanin is, all right? This actually reacts to UV radiation, flooding the skin with pigment as a natural protection against UV damage. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So again, the grapes, that lowest layer, that's the layer that as those come up, we want to keep them protected, because otherwise, if we're not, that's what's exposed to that UV damage, which that's where we get the hyperpigmentation, the sunspots. That's one of the biggest skincare concerns that I hear about from clients or people at the spa is, uneven skin tone, okay? So that's kind of your basics on the actual makeup of the skin. All right, now I want to talk about the different types of aging, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about like our MRP system, what that actually stands for. So hey Eva, hey Charity. Okay, so when it comes to the aging process, there's actually two ways that we age. All right, we have our natural aging, which is due to the age process. Just, you know, it doesn't matter what we're doing, we just can't avoid that, right? So we have natural aging, which just happens as we get older. And then we have environmental aging. Now that is an area that we can really be preventing, okay? The natural aging, we can slow that down. We can slow the signs of that down, but the environmental aging is things that we can really work on preventing and correcting. So let me give you some examples of some of, you know, what the environmental aging might look like, as opposed to the natural aging process. Or does anybody have any ideas? I'm gonna give y'all a minute and see. Anybody want to think of ideas that might be environmental aging? I know there's a couple of you on here. I'll give you a minute and see if anybody has any ideas. So what would be some examples of things that would lead to that, or things, you know, skincare concerns that we might see from environmental aging? Anybody have any ideas? Okay, so environmental aging are going to be things like anything that is caused by the sun, pollution, things like that. So what you might see with that is going to be hyperpigmentation. You know, that's all going to be set on from the sun. So that just means, you know, discoloration, sunspots, age spots, all of that. Those are going to be environmental aging signs, because that is all kind of self-inflicted, okay, from being in the sun. Also, deeper wrinkles. Obviously, we're all going to get wrinkles naturally, right? But the deeper wrinkles that can a lot of times come from, yeah, Charity, great, dry weather. That's, yeah, anything that's weather related, sun related, pollutants, all the things that are outside that really don't have anything to do with our makeup, like our genes and stuff, those are going to be environmental aging, you know, concerns, okay? So, or factors in this case, dry weather. Loss of firmness, roughness. So if you are, you know, drier weather, yeah, we have different skincare techniques that we want to use as we approach fall and winter, because our skin can tend to be drier during those seasons. And then maybe something different for summer if you happen to be more oily, or, you know, we get more sweaty and everything. And then of course we use a lot more sun exposure in those seasons. So absolutely anything that, like, it, you know, that seems like it would make sense in the environment. So sun, of course, is the worst that we want to protect against, and then pollutants and other, you know, weather factors. So hyperpigmentation, deeper wrinkles, loss of firmness or roughness are all going to be signs of environmental aging. Then we come over to the natural aging. And so what you're going to see with that is going to be more like loss of moisture, the fine lines, enlarged pores, redness, because a lot of times that's just part of our makeup. That's not really anything that's going to come from the sun or anything. That just could be part of our genetics, okay? And then fragile skin, so, you know, sensitivities, things like that, that are just a natural makeup or natural aging process, okay? So again, when it comes to the different types of aging, it's gonna happen, y'all. Like, we can't totally avoid it, but what we can do with proper skin maintenance and teaching your clients how to use proper skin maintenance is we can drastically reduce the appearance and the severity of it, okay? So who's excited about that? I know I am, especially just turning 30. I'm like, whatever I can do to slow down this aging process and keep my skin looking healthy. So that's our main goal for our clients, is to educate them on how to take better care of their skin. And overall, Beauty Control's goal is, of course, having beautiful skin, but mostly having just healthy skin, okay? So there's 5 different skin types that we normally refer to. Sorry, it's really hot in my upstairs right now. So I'm like, if I'm moving around a lot, it's just because I'm very hot right now. So there's 5 major skin types that we can address, okay? We have oily, normal to oily, normal to dry, and dry, okay? So with our different skincare sets, and I should have had these right in front of me, but I don't. You know, we have different skincare lines to address each of those needs. And of course, right now, Beauty Control's campaign is Beauty for a Lifetime. So we're really, really encouraging clients, you know, and helping them to choose a line that's going to really cater to where they're at, like the way that the age that their skin is acting. So that's what I say. Instead of just saying, okay, well, you're in your 40s, so you should get the 40s line. Okay, that's, you know, really what I'm telling my clients is, how old do you feel your skin is acting? Because we could have somebody that is in their 40s, but they're having breakouts and super oily skin like somebody in their 20s, okay? So we want to make sure that we're putting those people in the right skincare regimen. So for somebody that is more in their 20s, just looking to start taking good care of their skin, I would recommend those Skin Logics Essentials lines, which are labeled the 20s. So you're not going to have all that anti-aging prevention. There's no sunscreen in the moisturizer. There's no eye cream or night cream. You're just going to have a very basic maintenance set of a cleanser, toner, moisturizer, and a facial scrub to help exfoliate and keep the cornflakes and raisins and all that under control, okay? Then when you move up into the 30s, the BC facial line, so these bottles right here, which is what most of my clients use, this is what I use, that's that recommended line for the 30s. So why we recommend that line is, you know, as you get a little bit older, is because not only is it taking those nice botanically, you know, infused ingredients that the botanicals that we all love, so we have more natural products in our skincare, but also you're getting the best of the best when it comes to anti-aging, because we're infusing some repair ingredients in there that are going to help with those raisins and any hyperpigmentation or loss of firmness that's already starting to occur, okay? So with the BC facial line, you are going to have that SPF and vitamin C in your moisturizer that we really need. You're also going to see the night cream and eye cream in this line, because it's really, really important as we get older. Really, anybody over the age of 20 should be using an eye cream. But as we get older, that is this area that's first to go, because those layers are so thin around the eye area that really what happens is they're just getting dehydrated. So when we see the loss of firmness, see the dark circles, all the fine lines, all of those things, it's usually because we're starting to get dehydrated under the eye area, okay? So it's so important to add that eye cream into your regimen so that you just look, you know, your age and not as tired, and or if you're not wanting to look your age, to look younger than your age, that too, okay? So that's what the eye cream would be for. And then also that night cream, because remember, we talked about how the skin starts to dehydrate, and we want to keep the collagen, we want to keep that nice and plump in that middle layer, that dermis, because that's what makes our skin look plump and healthy and young. So what we want to be doing is using that night cream, because the night cream is going to help with the production of collagen, okay? So that would be that 30s line. And of course, you're going to have a combination oily and a normal to dry in both of those. So you can cater, you know, either way in the 20s and the 30s. And then as we move into the 40s line, the Regeneration Smooth line, that is again, not necessarily for everybody in their 40s, but for anybody who is already seeing that loss of moisture, having a hard time retaining moisture. That's really going to be a line that's much better for drier skin types, or people who have more of a normal skin. You don't really want to use that line on anybody that's super oily, okay? You want to use that line on somebody who's really starting to battle those signs of aging and wants to combat that, wants to hit it straight on with our best of the best when it comes to the ingredients. And on our next skincare masterclass, I am going to talk more about ingredients in the products so that you can feel more familiar. But I just kind of wanted you all to get this one bite at a time, and just at least feel more confident in even talking about your skin, okay? So great question from Chelsea. How young can they start using Skin Logics? My oldest is 12 and puberty is starting and is getting blackheads and acne bad. You know what? Yeah, I would say 12. Usually we say about 12 to 14. So that age would be a perfect age to start introducing that. You know, for acne and blackheads, we even have the we even have the clear line, okay? So I would definitely say right around 12 is about when I would start introducing that in, right? That preteen age. So if his skin is not very sensitive, you could definitely get him into the clear line, all right? Because if anyone that has extra oily skin, breakouts, it's going to really help to dry that up, okay? So, or if his skin is more sensitive, maybe get him started in one of the other lines, like the sensitive line or the 20s line would work great, okay? Keep in mind that with our clear skincare line, it does have those ingredients like benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, all those ingredients that are really intended to help dry up the oils and kill the bacteria that causes the acne. So you might, experience a little bit more dryness because we're trying to dry up the oil, okay? So I always tell people to keep that in mind. If you use it and you feel like your skin is getting too dry, then let's switch over to a different line. But that is very common, and those lines do have a little bit of a kick to them. That toner does have a little tingle to it because of that benzoyl peroxide. That's going to help to dry up the oil and kill the acne, okay? And then also it comes with a very lightweight moisturizer, because you never want to put a very heavy moisturizer on somebody with acne prone skin, because it will irritate their acne and probably make it flare up. So you still want to use moisture, just something that's lightweight, oil free, or oil control, which is what the acne line provides. All right, so great question, Chelsea. Any other questions from anybody? Anything else? Okay, so feel free to keep posting if you have some comments or questions. The last thing I'm going to tell y'all about is MRP. So MRP is really what beauty control stands for. And the M stands for maintenance, R is for repair, and P is for prevention, okay? So with MRP, maintenance is going to be those, your everyday skincare. I was trying to find my notes on this and I don't know where I put it, but I already know this. But maintenance is going to be more for that outermost layer, like your cornflakes, okay? And that's going to be your cleanser, your toner, your moisturizer, and then also your exfoliating polish or something that's going to help to keep those cornflakes, get those cornflakes going. Your repair is actually going to be something that's going to help with the environmental damage, okay? So think of maintenance as just helping with the natural things that are going on, the cornflakes, all that. And then your repair formulas, those are going to help more with the environmental damage that we're seeing. So those deeper wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, the things that we want to fix, mostly those self-inflicted things, like we know what they are. We've spent too much time in the sun. Those types of things are what we want to use our repair products for. So repair products are going to look more like our Tight, Firm, and Fill. All of those anti-aging treatments that are not going to be your basic cleanser, toner, moisturizer. So it's always great to start with maintenance no matter what. If I'm starting my client off and they want to start small, get them first and foremost into a maintenance routine. So a cleanser, toner, moisturizer, they need to start with that. If they start with Tight, Firm, and Fill, they're really working backwards and they're not going to get the best results for their skin. So get them in maintenance first. Make sure they're using their skincare line. If they're ready up front to add in everything, go ahead and you can add in their treatment products. But if they're not, start them off at maintenance and add the others in later, okay? So I like to let them use that for at least 2 to 3 weeks. That's when you can really start seeing a difference with our skincare, as in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. And from there, ask them, okay, are you ready to add in your treatments like your microdermabrasion or your Tight, Firm, and Fill or your dramatic new anti-aging cream? All of those things that are going to work on a deeper level, working on the dermis, those are going to be our repair formulas that go into that R of the MRP, okay? And then prevention, that's going to, of course, be mostly like our moisturizers, things with your sunscreen product in it. That's going to help to prevent from the aging process on both sides. So it's going to help to slow down the aging process as far as the natural aging goes, but also it's going to provide that protection that we need against environmental aging and the environmental damage like the sun, pollutants, and other things. Okay, so I think that's enough knowledge for y'all today. So again, just wanted to cover the different layers of your skin and how our skin works. It's so amazing to me, really, how our body works. So I'm going to see if anybody has any questions, and then next week we'll dig in a little bit deeper about that, and again more into the types of aging and more on your product knowledge. But does anybody have any questions or anything that you really learned today that you were excited about? I'm just going to stick around for a couple minutes and see. I wish I could tell like who's typing or something. Facebook Live needs to come up with something like that, because I can see there's still a few of you watching, so I just want to make sure nobody else has any questions. All right. Well, I don't see any questions popping up, but of course you all know that if you do ever have questions, text me, personal message me. Chelsea, you can't wait to get your son on skincare. Oh girl, let me just tell you, to me, there's almost nothing better than getting a teenager as self-conscious as teens already are in general. I love being able to see teenagers get into a good skincare regimen and have that skin transformation. And also, I'm going to tell you, Chelsea, another great thing for him would be the ozone tool. Girl, you will see major differences. If you have not already started using that on him, girl, I would whip that thing out tonight. It is amazing for oily skin and acne. You could use it on him. You could actually even use it on him daily if his skin is extra oily, because it will really help to kill that acne. And the oxygen, you know, another cool thing about that, so just a little side tip for everybody, and we can talk about this again on another training more in depth, but with the oxygen tool, the ozone tool, which I've got back here, it's actually for a client, I gotta get that to her, but the ozone tool, it's pure oxygen, and bacteria that causes acne cannot exist in the presence of pure oxygen. So that oxygen tool is going to be a little miracle tool for clearing up acne, because it kills all that nasty bacteria that's gonna make it worse normally, okay? So I would definitely add that in if you're not already doing that. You should see take some before and after pictures so that, you know, you can see the difference that it makes. And Lily, you said BC changed my skin and it motivates me to share with others. Absolutely. Y'all, I think when everybody feels more knowledgeable about the products, because we all know how great they are for our own skin, but you know, there are people that are spending a lot of money at a dermatologist and still not getting the results that they want, and still not having the things that they can take home for maintenance. So like, I know people that go to the dermatologist and spend who knows what just for the visit alone, and then get on a prescription cream that sometimes even causes scarring, where we have an amazing maintenance system that people can be using daily, avoiding having to go to the dermatologist, right? And you know, I mean, unless they have some severe skin conditions, but really and truly, you can cut that step out by just getting on one of our great maintenance routines. So yeah, why not share it with everybody? Absolutely. And Chelsea, can he use the mask that goes with it? The purifying scrub mask, Chelsea, the line? I'll wait a second and make sure. Are you talking about for the acne line? Yes, yes, absolutely. You can use the mask. What I would do if it was me, I would probably do, the only thing I wouldn't use right now is microderma peel. If he has really bad, I don't know how bad the really acne bad is, but usually when people have cystic acne, I don't recommend using the microdermabrasion, because sometimes it can open up and that brush can kind of drag it around, and we don't want to drag that bacteria. So wait until his skin is kind of cleared, and then if he has any scarring or discoloration from the acne, because that does happen, then once the skin is kind of cleared up, and you're just trying to help with scarring, then you can add in maybe the microdermabrasion tool. But for now, I would get him started on the cleanser, toner, moisturizer, use the scrub twice a week, and then use that ozone tool at least 3 to 4 times a week, if not daily. Okay? Hey, Angie. All right, ladies. Well, like I said, great questions. I hope this was all very helpful. I hope you feel a little bit more like a skincare expert after today. And we're just going to move forward with this over the next couple weeks. And like I said, talk more about the aging process and how you can incorporate the products in to fill all of your clients' needs. Okay, so have an awesome, what is today, Wednesday? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Please post anything that you learned that was helpful, and you can tag one of your spa sisters that you think would really benefit from watching the video too. So have a great one, everybody, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Go make some money. Have a great day.